What is the key to happiness? One helpful piece of advice might be limit your range of vision. What do we mean by this? The importance of a quiet life as the key to happiness is often talked about by German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. He argued that happiness is a negative condition, meaning that happiness is found by removing things rather than adding things. So long as your basic needs are met, a roof over your head, food and water, happiness is not found in external stimuli. In fact, it's precisely those external stimuli that excite our will and disturb our peace. So the trick is to actively avoid overstimulation. How to do this? By limiting our range of vision. In other words, don't bother yourself too much with the outside world. The more you care about what happens in the wider world, the more miserable you will become. This is why childhood is remembered so fondly by a lot of people. When we're children, our world is very small. Your parents and your schoolmates constitute the limits of your world. As we get older, our vision expands. In puberty, we start to care about other people. In adulthood, we might even start to think about the welfare of an entire nation, or sometimes even humanity as a whole. And finally, in old age, we care about how we will be remembered. Our vision now includes even the distant future. This is why Schopenhauer says that the second half of life proves even more dreary than the first. This is the natural progression of growing up, and in some sense, it's unavoidable. But there are some steps we can take to limit its bad effects. 1. Cultivate your garden. This is the famous advice given by Voltaire in his Candide. We must cultivate our garden. The message is about minding your own business, metaphorically growing your own vegetables. Don't bother yourself too much with the world. It's hard enough to take care of our own garden, let alone the garden of the entire world. This also means that a career in politics, journalism, or anything that involves caring about or being in the wider world is probably not the road to happiness, which isn't to say that you should not pursue these endeavors, but Schopenhauer has warned you. 2. Avoid boredom. With all this talk about limiting your vision or reducing your sphere of activity, it's important to note that avoiding boredom is equally important. In the words of Schopenhauer, boredom is a direct source of countless sufferings. For to banish boredom, a man will have recourse to any means that may be handy: dissipation, society, extravagance, gaming and drinking, and the like, which in their turn bring mischief, ruin, and misery in their train. We also see Schopenhauer's condemnation of typical time-killer activities, such as gaming, by which Schopenhauer meant playing cards in particular, and mindless drinking. Figure out which activities you can enjoy that aren't the typical time-killing ones. If you ask Schopenhauer, he'd probably tell you that the study of ancient texts is the most fruitful endeavor you can engage in. He believed that some degree of happiness could be achieved by developing your talents, so figure out what you're good at and practice it, whether that's writing, reading, painting, composing, inventing, or playing music. 3. Have a routine. Another surefire way to avoid overstimulation is to stick to a routine. Schopenhauer himself woke up early, took a cold bath, skipped breakfast, and started writing. In the afternoon, he read books, focusing on the classics, and then in the evening, he went to the opera or to the theater. Find a routine that works for you and stick with it. It simplifies life, and happiness is found in simplification. If you do this correctly, Schopenhauer writes, our existence will glide on peacefully, like a stream which no waves or whirlpools disturb. And that is about as much as we can hope for in this life. If you do these 3 things, cultivate your garden, avoid boredom, and have a routine, you'll be well on your way to reach that state of tranquility that Schopenhauer would call happiness. It might not be very exciting, but that's the entire point. For Schopenhauer, happiness is something akin to stoical ataraxia, a state of tranquility or non-disturbance. Life is a never-ending stream of sufferings, the one immediately following the next. The best we can do is build a solid foundation, an unmoving rock on which we can rest, while the difficulties of life try to disturb us and lure us away from our little place of rest. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. A big thank you goes out to our Patreons who make these videos possible. If you want to join their ranks and support the channel, feel free to take a look at our Patreon page, linked in the description. For more Schopenhauer, watch our big video on how to be happy, or watch Schopenhauer on the importance of solitude. Again, thank you for watching.